Oh my gosh. Are you just so excited that Trump lost on his tax returns? Man, when I saw those headlines, I was so pumped up. Like, yes, fine. I mean, I'm very hesitant to trust this court, but I saw the headline and I thought, we've had a few good decisions. I had reservations about all of them. What I'm going to tell you about today is why, as soon as I started reading those articles, I realized, yeah, no, this is not good. And even worse, most people will probably think this is good. It's just not, it completely sucks, not good. So, what I'm talking about is the Supreme Court ruling where, on a 7-2 vote, in an opinion written by Chief Justice John Roberts and joined by Trump's appointees, which seemed so incredible, right? Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh joined in the opinion, and they rejected Trump's claim that he was absolutely immune from ever having to produce anything, basically. So the court rejected that, and there was some good language in the opinion. That's awesome, except not really, because when I read it as a lawyer, what I read was, bottom line, the Supreme Court sent it back to the lower courts. I don't really care what the reasons are. It's a bunch of legal mumbo jumbo. You don't even need to worry about it. The bottom line is the lawyers are going to be able to go back to the lower courts, Trump's lawyers, and fight all day long, all kinds of new complex arguments. And what will happen in the meantime? With Trump's tax returns, zilch, nothing will happen. So there's no reason to be excited. The reality is nobody's going to see Trump's tax returns anytime soon, definitely not before the election. This, at best case scenario, would take many, many, many months. I mean, I would say we're moving quickly if something happened within 6 months or a year. Could take years, could take forever. There will be new objections. There will be new legal arguments. The law is so complicated. There are procedural arguments, evidence arguments. I mean, I haven't delved into the nitty gritty on this one, but it doesn't even matter. It just doesn't matter because he got what he wanted. Nobody is going to see his tax returns before the election. So if you'll bear with me for a second, because I'm just some, lawyer from Florida who may not know what she's talking about. I want to read you some, except I do, but I want to read you some quotes from various news organizations. Bear with me on the reading, but I want you to see that we need to focus on this, meaning the courts, not just the Supreme Court, but all of the courts, because they all have a huge impact in different ways. Democrats need to get so serious about the courts in a way that we have not been. But let me read these quotes just on this one case, right? Okay, New York Times, quote, probably means the records will be sealed until after the election and perhaps indefinitely. President's lawyer, Jay Sekulow, said he was happy with the decision and predicted a long battle to resume in the lower courts, which, he's right. If I were him, I'd be singing, I'd be like going out and celebrating. It'd be a great day. I mean, the only possibly bad thing is there's a little bit of language in the opinion that sort of slaps Trump on the wrist a little bit, but who cares? The reality is he gets what he wants. Okay, Washington Post. As a political fight, it looks like the battle for Trump's tax returns is over. And there's good reason to think that Trump won. Politico. Essentially, even though the nation's highest court rejected several of Trump's arguments, he got what he wanted politically. Congressional Quarterly. For the first time, the Supreme Court put limits on congressional power to subpoena a sitting president's personal and business information in a ruling that will frustrate the House. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. New York Times. Trump has again figured out how to game the legal system to his advantage. And the bottom line is that he will almost certainly get to keep hiding his tax returns and his other financial records from the American people. See, that's the thing. That's the benefit Trump has, in my view. A huge benefit. He came into the presidency as a person who had for, countless years used whatever amount of money, which we don't know how much that is, as a weapon with lawyers. And he went to lawyers and said, how do I get out of this bad thing I did? How do I get out of that bad thing I did? And the lawyers told him all the different tricks and strategies he could use, basically sue people, not pay when he should, and all kinds of stuff, defend indefinitely, which you can do in the courts. I mean, we have a saying, justice delayed is justice denied. And that's exactly what's going on in this case. So he comes into the presidency, and that's been the learning he's had over his lifetime. Now, don't get me wrong, other presidents were very accomplished lawyers, but they didn't come in with that mindset of using, and the history and practice of using the law and lawsuits as complete shields for anything they wanted to do, anything bad. And Trump is so skilled in that. And we really relied so much on our presidents just honoring certain protocols, and basically, I think because they were concerned about, I would suggest they were concerned maybe about media backlash or losing in the polls. And so they wouldn't take actions that would cause, and not only that, but they're just decent human beings, all of them, much more decent human beings. So even though these strategies were always available, no prior president has ever used them in the way that Trump has been able to do. So let me go back to reading some quotes. Washington Post, the court effectively rewarded Mr. Trump's policy of total non-cooperation with congressional and other investigators, allowing him to foil attempts to scrutinize his behavior before the November election. Then esteemed law professor Josh Chavez wrote that Trump won because we almost certainly won't get to see his financial records anytime soon, and that is what Trump cares most about. So Congress lost, and the court has dealt its oversight powers a serious blow. Congress lost, and the court has dealt its oversight powers a serious blow. And the reason for that is anytime we have an opinion, particularly from the Supreme Court, that establishes precedent. Judges can ignore precedent, but they have to want to, right? In their heart of hearts, they have to want to. So it just, in the future, if Congress is trying to subpoena some kind of records from a president and in utilizing their oversight responsibility, then a future president can say, hey, no, here's the Supreme Court decision that says I don't have to provide this and that to you. So this has really affected the balance of power in a negative way. And I just wanted to share this because Democrats need to get so much more serious about the Supreme Court. And the cruddy thing is that I felt after the last election, I was so demoralized because I felt the ship has sailed. I mean, these are lifetime appointments. We've got a 5-4 court. And I know there have been some positive decisions recently, but there's just kind of a similar argument behind why I really wasn't excited about them. And I've been thinking about doing a video about John Roberts, some of his highlights from some of his previous rulings since he's become the Chief Justice, because he's not doing democracy any favor. And that includes huge hits to the Voting Rights Act and campaign finance, which, just those two together really affect the functioning of our democracy in a way that helps regular people and not corporations and dark money and things of that nature. So again, I think Democrats are starting to obviously understand a lot more about the importance of the court. I hope we can't say it's too late because it's never too late unless you leave the country. We have to keep fighting for what we believe in, and we have the structure that we have. I really hope and believe that the court should be restructured, because there's no choice at this point. There's really just no choice. But we sure as heck cannot keep ignoring it. And this is, you know, the last election was the most important of our lives. This one is even more important, not just because of removing Trump, but also because of what's going to happen on the court when he will get to appoint one or two, at least, more justices. And so we just cannot let that happen. And another thing is, I think before the last election, so many people believe that the Supreme Court was just all about abortion. It was, we don't want to lose the court because we'll lose on this abortion battle. And I was banging my head against a wall. I was talking to my husband all the time, like, this is so frustrating. People do not understand all of the different areas of our lives in which the Supreme Court has a profound impact. Literally everything you can think of that matters to you in your life, the Supreme Court can affect. It's just, the list is too long. It's like, just, you gotta trust that it's important. It's just so critically important. And I'll just finish up by saying this point. Any law, I've said this so many times, but any law that a Democratic Congress passes with a Democratic president, any law, literally ever, the Supreme Court can eventually declare unconstitutional. And it's not hard. The Constitution is a very vague document. They can pull arguments out of wherever to justify that they're going to declare a law unconstitutional. So it really comes down to what they think. It comes down to, you know, their belief system really, really matters. That's why you have a ton of 5-4 decisions, and where liberals join together and conservatives go the other way. Please follow, please share, please, let's do everything we can. I'm actually making these videos just so whatever little sphere I can influence, people will understand the importance of not only getting out to vote, but, you know, anything you can do to help Joe Biden and help defeat Trump and the GOP, because we need to take Congress and the presidency to have an effect on any of this. So that's it. If you have any questions or things, you know, you're curious about the law, please post them in the comments. Again, I'm hoping to share videos going forward as I come across news articles, kind of showing how the legal side of what's in the news. I'm really trying to do that. I'm spending time doing, you know, videos and articles on that. So please follow me on both YouTube and on Facebook, and share and like and talk to your friends. And let's go. All right, everybody, please stay safe and healthy. I'm Tina Willis. I'm a personal injury lawyer in Florida, but I have a huge interest in communicating how the law and politics kind of intersect. All right, you guys, take care.